business entrepreneur, Evan Carmichael, dropped some serious jewels on the show today. I mean, so much filled nuggets. You guys are getting a lot of value out of it today. Make sure you stay tuned and watch his exclusive interview on KatHarveySNL.
Hi, I'm Evan Carmichael, and I watch my girl, Kat Harvey, success and nothing less.
Hey, what's up, world? I'm Kat Harvey, CEO of the top-rated show, KatHarveySNL. Today, we have a special guest who I admire and love. This guy has a huge heart. When you think of him, I think of inspiration and definitely the money, because he's a boss, of course. And he's helping changing lives all over the world. I mean, just pouring into a lot of people. His videos on YouTube is how I actually found him. So, of course, I had to have him on today. So, without further ado, please welcome the mogul himself, Mr. Evan Carmichael. How are you?
Awesome, Kat. Thanks for having me. What's up?
Glad to have you again. Can you tell the world, a quick intro of who you are, just for those who may or may not know you?
Sure. I'm Evan Carmichael. I believe in entrepreneurs. I have a popular website to help entrepreneurs. It evolved to a YouTube channel. We have 600,000 subscribers today. Just crossed that milestone. Wrote a book to help entrepreneurs. My background is I was an entrepreneur with my first business, biotech software company. We failed a whole bunch, finally figured it out. I became a venture capitalist as well later, and I just want to help entrepreneurs believe in themselves to do great things. Success and nothing less. That's what's up.
I love it. I love it. So how did you get better, at closing people? I know you have to close people since you are in business. So how did you get better at closing people and to shorten, that time frame, that people want to have to think about certain things that you offer and services?
Yeah, so I work with big brands. I work with, I got a book deal with Penguin Random House. I work with big companies who want to work with me on projects. I think the most important thing is to really understand what they're trying to accomplish, and then really try to think, am I the best person to fit that need? And so most deals, again, maybe I'm a weird duck here, but most deals I'll actually walk away from because it's not a fit. Like most of the brand deals that come to me is like, hey, Evan, we want you to pitch, our water bottles here, or glasses, right? They're the best thing ever. Pitch it to your audience and we'll pay you X amount of dollars. I only actually talk about the products and services that I use. Like I use it in my business. If I'm going to talk about that glass, like I love that glass. I use that every day. Right? That's what I'm going to talk about it. And so most brands coming in with that perspective, it's not a fit for me. And I don't want to try to convince them otherwise, because we're just going to fight. Like they're coming from a different perspective, a different viewpoint. But if I understand them, like if their goal is to reach entrepreneurs and be seen as a friend of entrepreneurs, then I'll let them know, like I'm one of the best people in the world to work with. And I can authentically say that, and we work out a plan that if I'm comfortable with it, we're going to have a lot of success with it, because my goal is the long game. I don't want to pitch and sell some product or service that I can't deliver on. And so when we get working on a project, we may start with something small, but then, you get a project, you over deliver like crazy. And then you get another project and another project, and it builds and builds, builds and builds. And so much more important than closing the wrong client is understanding who the right client is. And if you do that well, then you don't need to close as much. You don't need like the hard, again, I'm not a salesman. I'm a great salesman, but I don't do most of the sales like techniques. If I understand your goal and it's aligned with what I'm really good at doing, we're gonna work together. I'm gonna help you understand it and see it. But my goal, because I've been burned, is I don't want to bring in the wrong client just because it's money. Like the devil always comes carrying a bag of cash. You get in the bed with the wrong client, the wrong deal, you're fighting, it doesn't work out. They don't refer clients to you. They're not repeat business. And so much more important is listening to the clients, understanding if you're going to be a fit for them. And if you are, and you're great at what you do, you're the expert at this one thing, then it's more of a no-brainer as opposed to having to close them on something.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So, being a person of excellence, we all are humans. And so we have, sometimes we got to combat the negative self-talk. So what do you think was the biggest story that you kind of told yourself, behind closed doors, subconsciously, that kind of kept you from being great?
I think the self-talk is the biggest thing. Like a lot of people will blame other people. They'll blame their parents, their brothers and sisters, their family, their friends, whatever. And say like, you can't do a YouTube show. Come on, Kat. Like you didn't go to school for this, Kat. You don't have the money, Kat, to do that, right? Like all of these things. And it's true. Like I call those people the little man. Like you're in the arena, you're fighting, you're trying to go for your dreams, and the little man sits up in the arena like booing you and throwing tomatoes at you. But they're too afraid to go chase their dreams, so they have to bring you down to their level, right? Yeah. But even worse than that is yourself. Like you can deal with other people hating on you, but when you hate yourself, when you're hating on your own ideas, you're never going to get anywhere. And so I think a lot of people struggle with that. Like, am I good enough? Who am I to go start this interview channel? Who am I to be the one profiling these famous entrepreneurs? On and on and on. And I think our environment really makes a difference. The environment that you surround yourself with, like, if you believe in success or nothing less, you should be watching Kat every day. Like, start your day with a Kat video, right? And if you've seen all of them, start through them again, right? Like, if success is important to you and you like her vibe, you should be digesting that content, not just randomly on a Thursday afternoon, but first thing every morning, start your day with it to build that resistance to mediocrity, right? Because people they're settling for less. They're not going for success because the environment around them really sucks. And so building that in, when you've read a book or watched a video that really kind of gets you feeling bolder, feeling like you're worthy, feeling like you can actually do it. We all have these moments of boldness, like, I'm gonna go and do that. I'm on fire. I'm gonna go chase that thing. And then you wake up the next day, like, what happened to the fire? You're back to normal, playing the small game again. And so instead of randomly waiting for things to happen, with purpose, scheduling into your calendar so that you are off doing these things every day to help you go for success and nothing less. I like that. Success and nothing less.
Oh gosh, thank you for the drop. So out of all your top 10 videos, which one do you think resonates with you the most and why?
That's a great question. We've done a lot of top 10 videos. I think one of my favorite ones was on Kanye West. And he's actually, I don't know if you can see all the way back, but he's on my wall behind me here. They'll switch it. They'll sit there. We get Kanye more in view there. Yeah. Mostly because, Kanye says a lot of stupid things. That's fine. He says a lot of things that people don't agree with and causes controversy and all of this stuff. It's great. But what I wanted to do was show that, listen, this guy also has a lot of great things that you could learn from him. And the goal isn't for you to be the next Kanye West or to be the next Steve Jobs or to be the next Oprah Winfrey or to be the next whoever. It's to be the best you, right? It's to be the best Kat Harvey. How do I do that? And you can pull something from a Kanye and from a Bill Gates and from, whoever to help you become better. And so it was at a time where everybody was hating on Kanye. He did something. I don't remember what he did. Something else, the typical Kanye, Kanye move. And I put this out, which was all positive, which was all showing, hey, this guy. It doesn't mean you have to ignore the other stuff, but there's some things you can learn. Like John Legend, his original name was John Stevens, and it was Kanye who convinced him to change his last name to Legend. They say, dude, you could be a legend, man. Like, change your name to John Legend. I believe in you, right? Like, and you think of John Legend as this super chill, calm, zen, down to earth, like wouldn't harm a fly, kind of nice guy vibe. Like, he's friends with Kanye. Like, how does that work? But Kanye helps his friends, and he believed in his friend and said, listen, you are a legend. Like, go all in, believe in yourself. And so sharing some of those stories, I don't know, that was a turning point for me. Is I realized that the videos that we're putting out can also help change perspective on some people, and that you can learn something from everybody. Even if you hate this person, if you hate Michael Jordan, you're a Knicks fan and you hate Jordan, you could still learn something from his success to help you become the best version of you.
Okay. So how did you make, everybody claims to be a marketing expert and they have this program, that program. So how did you make it fun and not just all about the money?
I think it's because I never started this with the intention of being a YouTube star. It was never my goal. I started this because I'm a visual learner, and I would rather see a video than listen to a podcast or than read a book. It's just how I process information. And the thing that saved my first business from when I was making $300 a month and barely surviving to actually building a real company was modeling success. I looked at how Bill Gates started his software company and I applied that to me. And so I wanted more. Like, I wanted to learn more. I wanted to be around successful people. I didn't have successful people hanging around my life. You know, I didn't have super successful friends, right? I was the most successful of my friends. So they look at me and they say, "You're doing a great job. Congratulations. I wish I could be like that." Like, I'm just getting started, man. I'm nothing compared to what people have, right? It's just like, if you live to their standards, you're never going to go out and do something amazing. So, right, a lot of people in your circle might say, "Oh, Kat Harvey, like, you got your show going, it's great." And you're like, "Yeah, that's great, but like, I'm pushing for bigger, man. I'm pushing to hit millions. That's what I want to do. You guys are thinking small." And so I started the channel selfishly because I wanted to have these famous entrepreneurs in my life to influence me. So I feel like I'm hanging around Steve Jobs and Oprah Winfrey and these people every day, and they're injecting their, you know, confidence and mindset and habits into my brain to help me become better. And so it was never designed to be a money, like, it was never the number one thing. And I think to have success in business, money can't be your number one thing. It's important. It's important. You know, like, it's not, money is important. Don't get me wrong. This is not a charity. And even if you are a charity, money is important, right? It's just not number one. If you want to have success in business, you need to find something that is more important than money and go all in on that. Like, Steve Jobs never was about the money. He was multi-millionaire in his 20s. Could have done anything. Could have relaxed the rest of his life, sat on some beach. And he worked until the day he died on Apple, trying to make it better because he was motivated by having a big impact. And Apple became the #1 most valuable company in the world, even though Jobs' #1 goal was never money. And so when you find something that you love doing, you can put all your heart into it, that becomes the reason to go to work. Not just to make money. Yes, you want to make money on the side, right? Some people have a negative association with money, like, oh, too much money is bad. Too much money means you're greedy. Too much money means you're, you know, like, I don't think most people have a healthy relationship with money. They either want it too much or they don't want it enough. It's about having like a balanced view on it. But I think because money was never my major goal with any of this stuff, I haven't focused on it. I don't do, like, I could easily do a video on top 10 terrible things about Kanye and it would blow up and it would make me tons of money. But it's not the message. It's not what I'm passionate about. I don't want to bring people down. I want to build people up. So I could have been way further ahead if money was the only goal, but it wouldn't be authentic, and ultimately it wouldn't have worked out.
You're right about that. So I want you to fill in the blanks. When I fall short of my goals, I
blame myself.
Because?
It's my fault.
That's it?
That's it. Accept responsibility. Too many people blame something else, right? It's President Trump's fault that I'm not more successful, right? Like, it's this weak economy's fault. It's my parents' fault for not giving me a better education, right? It's my bank's fault for not giving me a loan, right? Like, it's always somebody else's fault. And when you blame somebody else, it feels good short term, but it also lets you stay where you are. Where if you realize that, listen, it's not working because of me. Like, I'm not good enough. I'm not better. I need to hustle harder. I need to find another way. And it sucks and it's depressing because you realize you're to blame, but it's also empowering because you're also the solution. Like, you can get yourself out of it. So if something happens that is negative, I'm not hitting my goals, it's my fault. I need to get better. You know, like, you look at my YouTube channel, we crossed 600,000 subscribers today. You know, I deserve to be where I'm at from a good and a bad point of view. Like, from a good point of view, like, hey, I hustled hard. I deserve those 600,000 subscribers. I put in a lot of work. I put 4,000 videos to make that happen. But I also don't deserve to be at 6 million. Like, why am I not at 6 million? I'm not good enough. Like, I'm not there because of me. I'm not good enough. My team's not good enough. Our research isn't good enough. The videos aren't good enough. I need to get better to reach that point. So if I don't hit my goals, it's my fault. Successful people take responsibility, take accountability for where they're at, and they find a way to break through. And unsuccessful people just blame somebody else because it's convenient, but it keeps them where they are.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more.
You got me going, and that's my rant of the day, Kat. Kat's got me all fired up. The rant of the success and nothing less. What are we talking about here? Success.
So, you know, I'm sure a lot of people look up to you. So what do you have to say to those people who want to take a leap of faith and think there's certain people, they want to model certain people who kind of jumped off the bridge, as I call it, and, you know, don't have a backup plan. They just do what they have to do. So what do you suggest to young and older people who want to start a business, but not necessarily jump and quit their job just in case it doesn't work out?
Yeah, I think it depends on your personality. I think some people, they need to go all in. It's like, how do you go on a diet, or how do you quit smoking? Some people is like, I just need to stop. Like the cold turkey, that's the only thing that works for me. And so the only way for something to work is to go all in. If that's your personality type, then that's what you have to do. I'm not in that camp. I'm not that personality type. I can start things small and build up. And I don't think entrepreneurship has to be something super risky. I think you can start on the side. I think you can cut down smoking. So like from a pack a day to 3 a day to, you know, and cut your way out. And so the same thing, you can work your way up as an entrepreneur. I think the most important thing is, one, if you have a job, get a job to learn. So whatever it is that you want to do, go work for somebody who's doing it. Don't work in some totally unrelated thing. Like you want to start a beauty company, but you're in programming. Okay, leave programming and go work for a beauty company to learn, right? To understand how the business works and get as close to the CEO, founder, entrepreneur as possible. Take on as many projects as possible. You know, if you're working on actually making the product, go try to work on a marketing project with them. Just try to learn the skill sets. Normally you have to pay for an education. Here, you're getting paid to make mistakes. Like if you've never talked to a customer before, now you're in front of customers, you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna say the wrong things, you're gonna be nervous, all of these things, but you're getting paid to do it. Like if it was for your own company, you would be losing money right now, but you're getting paid to do this. And so go get a job where you're going to learn. At the same time, start on the side. Start your business on the side and just be consistent. This is where people fall down. They do like 2 hours one day and then they drop it for 2 weeks, and then 3 hours and they drop it for like every day. You have to do something. Schedule it in, make the time, wake up earlier, go to bed later, whatever it is. Every day you got to find some time to move your business forward a little bit. And so the first part, if you were that personality type, we just have to go cold turkey. Like, do you have enough reserves in the bank? Quit and go do it. If you can handle the gradual, just make sure that it's consistent, because you will tend to prioritize your job and your life and everything else, and your business comes last when there's time. And there very rarely is time. So if you're doing something once a month, it's not going to be enough to help build it forward. Okay.
I see your beautiful picture of you and your wife in the background.
There it is. Yeah, there she is. Oh. So let me tell you about this. So there's a wall in front of me here, right? I had her up on my wall because I look here, right? I don't look this way, right? Like I look here, my computer's facing this way. And then she's on my live stream and she's like, how come I'm not in the videos? You put Steve Jobs, but I'm not in the video. But it's like, I'm looking at you all day. It's like, I want to be in the videos. So I had to take her off the wall and put her down here. So all of you guys can see her. I'm expecting will put me on both. That's coming up soon. She's going to want to be in both spots. Right. Yes.
Oh, that's sweet. Well, that leads me to my next question. So what's your advice, to single and married people, as far as being with somebody that's on the same wavelength as you and not so much, disturbing or getting in the way of your creativity with somebody that's not on board with your vision?
That's hard. If there's somebody who's not on board with your vision, you got to question if you're in the right relationship or not, to be honest. They don't need to be an entrepreneur. Like, you don't have to be married to another entrepreneur. That may even cause more friction and more chaos, and you're both so busy that you don't spend time with each other. But a good relationship should be based on supporting each other, even if you don't understand it. So if my wife wants to go out and, so we both dance as an example, but if my wife wanted to learn salsa dancing and I wasn't interested, like, I shouldn't be the reason why she doesn't do it. She should go out and do it, right? And I should be getting jealous that she's dancing with other guys at salsa dancing, because I had the chance to say yes, and I didn't, right? And so I think in a good relationship, you support each other, even if you can't understand or know how to help. So, my wife is involved in some of the things I do on my channel. She's in some of the personal videos. I own a dance business, and so she's part of that. And I try to help her with her stuff, but it's, it's coming from a place of understanding that what your vision is important to me. And I want to try to help you get there, even if I don't know how, even if the help is just listening when you have a hard time. But if somebody's not on board with your vision, if somebody's telling you you can't do that, if somebody's telling you that's a stupid idea, that starts to get into like, is this person really the one that I'm supposed to, like, you know, this idea may be nothing, and you're already hating on this tiny idea. You know where I want to go? You know what I want to try to build? Success and nothing less. You're hating on this tiny thing. Like, is that the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with? You know, it's something to really consider, because you don't, you know, you're hard enough on yourself. You don't need your significant other to be super hard on you, bashing you too.
Okay. So at what point, you know, should somebody use online commercials and ads to increase their business?
I think it depends on the business. You know, you want to be where your customers are. It's kind of marketing 101. Wherever your customers are, that's where you want to be. And so if your customers are on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, you know, you could be there. The thing with advertising that's so great, if you're looking at online, is that you can track it down to a sale, or at least to a contact, depending on what your business is. If you're running an e-commerce business, you could track it all the way down to a sale. So you can know, hey, if I target women from Detroit who are 25 to 35 and have 2 kids, you could do that. And you could track it all the way down to sale and see if you're making money from it. Is your audience there, and are you tracking it? So can you track it down to a sale and be smart about it and not just throw money? Because it's easy to lose a ton of money and not get any return. So you got to be careful.
Okay. So what's the best way to make and keep $1 million?
I think the best way to make $1 million is to combine what you really love doing, what you can be one of the best people in the world at, with what people want. That's the game of business. If you love doing something, but nobody cares about it, you're not going to get any money. And if somebody really cares about it, but you don't really love it and have an interest, you're never going to win, because the people who love it are going to always beat you. And so it's that combination of when you really love something and people want it as well, merging those things together. And sometimes it's combining things. Sometimes it's, you know, as an example, a friend of mine is a highly successful financial advisor. So he's selling financial products that everybody sells. Like everybody knows 10 financial advisors. Yeah. And his other interest is hockey. He loves hockey. He's a guy who could watch the same hockey replay 10 times and still be excited about the goal that guy scored. So, well, how do I combine those two passions? Well, he became the financial advisor for NHL hockey players. These guys have a lot of money. And when he goes in and he talks to them, he doesn't just talk money, he talks about the game. And he loves the game. So for the posers going in to pretend like they know what they're talking about with hockey, they're like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, don't come in like that, man. Like, you know, do some research, or just stick to the financials. Where he goes in, he knows both. And so he wins where other people will lose. And so you got to think, what can I do that's unique to me? What are the passions, skills, interests, desires that I have that others don't? And how can I combine them in a way that that makes sense, that I can win at, that I can be unique? And then how do I make that work for the market? What do people want that I can give them? That's how you make it. How to keep it. So I have 2 thoughts here. One, I always bet on myself first. Like, I believe in investing in myself is the best investment I can make. And so in looking at a business opportunity that I'm going after, or if looking at education from a program or seminar or a book or whatever,